which I don't know that that was intended, but it sure didn't make you feel any more at peace. And then there was another guy with a bullhorn that was, I can't repeat what he was saying, but that came across enough that at one point he referenced him. But that, especially after about halfway through the speech, became pretty common. You could hear it in the background. Some of the other versions that are out there, they got all that sort of cleaned out. But there was a lot of that in the background. So it wasn't a peaceful thing. And he's talking about how people like us are for chaos, lawlessness, evil, darkness. And yet he pictured all of that in his thing. Yes.
You know, Karl Marx always said, accuse your enemies of what you're doing.
And that's an excellent point, because that's exactly what I believe was going on. If you would have substituted the Democrats and Biden for Trump and the Republicans in this speech, you'd have said, yeah, the Antifa and BLM riots and the Seattle burning and the other towns in Wisconsin and around the country burning in flames, and police being attacked and killed by rioters, and people being pulled out of their cars, people being shot as they tried to drive by these protests. You know, that the buildings on fire, police cars on fire, while the media is saying this is mostly peaceful protest. Ignore those fires back there. You know, everything that he was accusing us of is really what they're doing. And this constant going back to a democracy, what and he emphasized it. I mean, let me just skim through here. When he starts out, we come down, this is on the first page here. These two documents and the ideas they employ, equality and democracy. Then just a little bit after, a few lines later, but I stand here tonight, equality and democracy are under assault. And then he just constantly, democracy, 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 democracy. And through the whole thing, democracy. And, he did use the word republic one time, I take that back. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. That's the only time he used republic. But this idea of emphasizing democracy, most people out there, you ask them, that's what they think we have.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, many of our conservative allies are just as much to blame about talking about our democracy. Remember George W. Bush? We're making the world safe for what? Democracy. No, democracy is little more than mob rule. In fact, that is what a mob rule is, democracy. All you have to do is have a majority, and who cares what the minority thinks? I am thankful we do not live in a democracy.
Amen.
If we lived in a democracy, we would not be free to do what we're doing right now.
That's right.
They'd have already shut us down. And not only are we in a republic, we're in a constitutional republic, because there's a body of law that governs what's done. We may use, like I said, some democratic principles, but this emphasis on democracy takes people away from what America really is and what guarantees our safety and our freedom and our ability as Christians to be able to do what we do. And it makes it, no, you can only do it if the majority of people agree. And if